Geoff Packard of Undiscovered Classics. I'm here with Craig Johnson, and we're taking a, 4 or 5 day trip. We're dropping off a couple things and picking up a couple things. This car is intact, but it's been halfway through changing it over to a different chassis. This is a Glasspar 1952 Glasspar G2 Tony St. Clair bought off eBay a number of years ago, probably 15. And while we were restoring it down here, he came up with a better Glasspar, which is 2/3 the way being done, and so we're shipping this back to him. It was taken off this chassis, which is a pre-war Willys chassis, and a very interesting customized front suspension. It used to have longitudinal springs, which you can see from here, but they changed it over. That confused us to what it was originally, but it is a Willys chassis. The earliest Glasspars were often put on Willys chassis because they were from 99 to 102, 103 inch wheelbase, and the Glasspar car was originally made for 102 inch wheelbase. This car is interesting because it actually has defrosters. Most of them wouldn't, and it came with a hardtop. And we've always been trying to figure out the name of OLILA, but we've never been able to get the history on this car. And we do have the grill and all for it, but it's all going back to Tony. So this will be his second Glasspar. Whether he restores it or not, I don't know. But we've got the chassis that we just finished, or finishing a Glasspar now. And it's built on we're building it on a Corvette C3 chassis. C2 and C3 are nearly alike, and we actually picked up a chassis for him that he may be building this car someday on a C3 chassis. C2 and C3, 1963 to 1982, about the same. This engine is a Renault engine. We picked up some time ago. We are donating it to Marvin McFalls and his Renault collection. It's a leader of the Renault group for decades. And here comes Craig taking a picture. You can see him very far away. Let's see if I can get a close up. There I am. There you can and far away. So this is the start of our trip. We started out about 7:30 this morning. It's about 12 something now, maybe 1 o'clock. And we've got 2.5 days up, 2.5 days back. And tonight we're going to be meeting the folks from Val Dialochi, whose father actually built the replaque Debonair that we just debuted at Pebble Beach. So you'll say, see ya. Craig, wave. It's Thursday, October 19th, 2023. And we are in Ohio dropping off Tony St. Clair's original Glasspar. Rick and I met Tony when he bought this Glasspar via eBay years ago. And when he sent it down for restoration, we started, and then he found a better Glasspar, and I think I said that in the last video. But what a beautiful, picturesque place they've got. They've got a beautiful, it's called Piat Castle, which is a public castle, not public, but it's a destination for people to go and tour. I remember this is where Rick and I originally saw the Glasspar years ago. So we're bringing it back here along, and it's sitting on a Corvette chassis from the 1963 Corvette chassis. And of course, it's not mounted or anything. We just put it on there because we stopped that, and then Ralph had put together the Glasspar on a brand new chassis on the other Glasspar, and this one will be restored by Tony later or someone else. And this is the original Willys chassis. Craig, you want to wave? There we go. And we're getting ready to put it where the cones are to drop off. So it was about 1,000 miles, 900 miles, somewhere like that. That was our first. We left yesterday morning, 7:30. Today, about 5 o'clock up in Ohio, which is West Liberty, Ohio. And we will be dropping him here. There we go. It's just beautiful kind of place here. And of course, it's raining a little bit right now too. So given the time, we're probably just a few weeks away from the first light snow. But what a gorgeous place this is. Get a tour of the most neat and beautiful places. Craig is putting this in line where we hope to be able to roll off the cars without any problem. That's kind of nicely framed. There we go. They rolled on with a little luck. They will roll off. If they don't, the winch and 2 batteries and the snatch blocks will help jettison them off the trailer at rapid speed. And on our way to Akron, where tomorrow we will pick up the Simon LaDawri Packard and make its retirement way to Florida a couple days later. Well, today is Friday, October 20th, and we are, where are we? Akron, Ohio? Talmadge, Ohio. Somewhere. Picture of Craig, and we're just loaded up some seats that are coming with the car we're picking up, which is the LaDawri Conquest.
I like the upholstery on those seats. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's see.
Classic.
I wonder if they're original. We think they might be. And we're here at Byron Burris, who we're getting the car from. It'll run just fine, right?
What's that?
It'll run fine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As long as it's on air. And we're going to be loading this up in a few minutes here. Myron's giving us a help. Craig, if you want to steer, we have to steer left first. I can also pivot the trailer a little bit if we need to.
It's long enough wheelbase. It should probably catch.
Good. All right. I've got to switch the battery over, it sounds like. Oh, maybe not. Didn't lock it. Okay. Can go to your left a little bit, Craig. Left, more, more. More left. Trust me, I can see both wheels. Left. You can go more left. How's the other tire? Okay, good. Yay! It's all yours, Craig, however you want to put it on. Let's remove the engine. I'm going to stop it just before I've got a ratchet strap on the other side down. All right, we'll do a little organizing here.
Making a surprise visit to another LaDawri Conquest, but not just any LaDawri Conquest. This is owned by our friend Myron Vernus and is going to be coming to Geoff. Geoff has purchased this from him. In addition to my General Electric early hybrid Conquest, this is probably the most significant one on par with it. This is a former race car. You can see by the chassis here, all custom, all space frame, really wild stuff. And it's Packard powered, so this has a really great background as a full-blown race car. Get some of this stuff out of the way here so you can see better. Take a look at that chassis. All this crazy engineering into here. Aluminum firewall, pedal setup, pretty wild stuff. It's really neat actually seeing one of these without the windshield frame, as Geoff jokingly calls the basket handle. I'm thinking on a future Conquest build that I'll be doing, not the GE Conquest that's staying as it is. I'll probably be doing a similar modification, removing the basket handle and then doing a frameless Corvette windshield, or probably the GMC truck windshield they originally had. It just gives it a much cleaner look. And actually looking at the historic photos we have from the Dawes family when the original Conquest was being built, they didn't have a frame. It looks like they actually did experiment with having a frameless windshield on the first Conquest and then ultimately ended up putting one on it. And it looks really slick. So let's come around to the back here. Old Ohio plates from '62. Give you an idea what's going on in here. Serious setup. Absolutely wild car. Looks like Stuart Warner gauges. Yeah, Stuart Warner. Sneak in underneath this shredded tarp here, give you an idea what's going on. I like the school bus yellow, it's a bold choice. Just back out of here. See if we can't peek under the hood without ruining what's left of the cover. There it is. Packard motor. It's going to be amazing to hear this thing running again, especially with that racing heritage it has. It's definitely a great buy by Geoff. So this will probably be coming down to Florida before the end of the year. And then it'll go on the big list of eventually getting to restorations as Geoff is figuring out which cars are taking priority, which ones are moving up the list, which ones are maybe changing pace a little bit here. Let's see if we can't get underneath it a little bit. Huge exhaust coming out the side. Let's see. You see much? Looks like an aluminum pan. I actually kind of like the look of the tires sticking out past the body line a little bit. It looks like it lines up really nicely with the back fender, or the back of the wheel opening rather. And then I really like the look of how this is set off. Maybe it's a little bit far out, maybe pulling it in a little bit on a different build would be good. Obviously you don't really want to mess with this one, given how intact it is. But let's see if we can't get underneath the front here. Yeah, there we go. Give you a better idea of what's going on all throughout. Yeah, what a great car. This is going to make a great restoration. Awesome car to take vintage racing or just appreciate once it's in its restored state and terrorize the neighbors with that Packard motor and that big exhaust. But it's going to make for a hell of a build. Really well good documentation as well about its racing heritage, which will obviously come in handy. Some damage here and there, which you'd expect. You know, not a big deal. It's just fiberglass. Little crunch over here, but all that's very repairable.
We did about 500 miles yesterday from Tampa to Hammer, Hammer, South Carolina, and we're about to go to North Carolina. Here's our Bohada, which is Dennis Kazmarowski's Bohada. Actually, before then, it was my Bohada. And I found it via a guy up in Detroit. It took many years of research, and Eric Schultz had helped, and Tony St. Clair had helped, and one of the two or both identified what it was. And then I sold about years later to Dennis, who had one of our group widen it. So this Bohada is the only one that's been widened standard, and it's not longer, but it's wider. So it can accommodate a little more power, a little more strength. And here's our Almquist. It's going to the Almquist family in Vienna, Virginia. And then we've got our hardtop for the Lejeune, which we also call the California, going to Joel, who is going to be, Joel has a California and Lejeune, but also the Lejeune family, or Dodson family, is moving from California with their car to Richmond in 2024. And this is for Joel's car, their car, whichever they want to do. And we have a Singer chassis underneath, which is going to Joel and stuff inside, but what a cool place. It seems to be doing well south of the border, doing better than I've seen the last few years. And of course, we had to go in and get some souvenirs, and we got to have some dinner last night. And how can you, not really enjoy the south of the border? Maybe we'll get some lunch or breakfast. We have to wait for, we'll open up a little bit. But what else is here? We never have gone up Pedro's Tower. We have gone to the Mexico shop. I'm a little loopy because it's still early in the morning. Say good morning, Craig.
Morning, Craig.
All right. Here we are at Bill Driscoll's house.